This week's Piltch Point with Avram Piltch is proudly powered by PureVPN. The best way to protect your privacy online is with PureVPN. You can hide your online activities, say goodbye to regional restrictions, and improve your streaming quality. Plus, it's available for almost all of your devices, and to get a special price right now, you can go to pilchpoint.live/PureVPN. All right, Avram. So we get another opportunity to see a new product, right? I always love when you've got show and tells.
Yes. So here is my today's show and tell. It is a Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 9. So
Nice.
now the Gen 9 means it's the ninth X1 Carbon. That doesn't mean it's using 9th generation Intel CPU. It actually is using 11th generation Intel Core CPU. So, so the X1 Carbon has been around a while. I mean, obviously this is the 9th generation of it, but it is the productivity. It has long been the productivity laptop to beat because it is super thin, super light, but has everything you need to really work smarter, not harder. So this here is 0.6 inches thin, just like prior ThinkPad X1 Carbons. It's only 2.5 pounds, like prior X1 Carbons, but there is something a little different about it. It is slightly longer and narrower because it has a 16 by 10 display. So prior models, like many laptops on the market today, use 16 by 9 displays. So 1920 by 1080 was the base resolution. This is 1920 by 1200. So that gives you 11% more vertical screen real estate. That means when you're viewing a web page um, or editing a document or something like that, you are going to see a little bit more on this screen than you would have, than you did on last year's model and on most products in the market. So this comes with a choice of, it starts at $1,100, and it uses an Intel Core i5 or i7 11th gen processor, and it has either 8 or 16 gigs of RAM. I definitely recommend going with 16, and up to a 1 terabyte SSD. Uh, the What is really cool about this is the battery life is just unbelievable. It lasts 15 and a half hours on a charge on our
Wowzer.
test.
Wow.
That and mind you, like I said, it's only 2.5 pounds and 0.6 inches thick. The keyboard is obviously really, really good keyboard because it's a ThinkPad, and ThinkPad keyboards are, you know, are always among the best, if not the best.
Notoriously wonderful.
Yes. For those who like the nubs, as I do, you have the track point or this glass touchpad. Um, the screen here, this is you can get it. This is the what was the touch? Anyway, you can get it. You can get it with touch, not touch, or you can get it in actually above 4K. It was like 3840 by 2400. So actually slightly above 4K, if you desire. The speaker system on this is actually really good. You have two speakers on either side of the keyboard and another two on the bottom surface here.
Wow.
So it actually sounds really good. It has the ports you need. A lot of thin and light notebooks these days only have Type C, but here you have two Type C ports, which are actually Thunderbolt 4 compatible, and you can charge from either of these.
Nice.
You can use the charger that comes with it, or you can use any USB-C charger that supports 60 watts, or even I think 45 will do. It also has USB Type A ports, full size HDMI out, not micro or mini HDMI, and another full size USB and headphone jack and lock slot on the other side.
Wow.
So it's the performance is really strong, on par with other notebooks like this. I mean, obviously it's integrated graphics, so it's not going to be for gaming, but you've got a really good, feel with the keyboard. It's really light, great to put on your lap, stays cool while you use it. Uh, Even pretty cool when we were running an intense benchmark, Cinebench 23, on repeat. It stayed. The cooling was good. The display, the default display, is not super colorful. It's about 71% of the DCI P3 color gamut. But if you get the 4K display, it probably has more color. On the other hand, the viewing angles are really good. Uh, this registered 350 nits. Again, if you buy the more expensive screen, you can get one that's promises 500 nits. But unless you're going out in the sun, this is probably more than adequate, and you get really good battery life for the you get really good battery life for having a lower screen. Here you have a 720p webcam, which is decent. It does the job. It has a shutter here, so if you're worried about privacy, you can close the shutter. They also make a version of this, which my review unit here doesn't have, with an IR camera for doing Windows Hello facial recognition,
Okay.
if you so desire. Um, but it's pretty straightforward notebook that just really does a fantastic job. The keyboard just feels really fantastic. I love using the track point because then I can type and navigate around the desktop without moving my hands to touch the touchpad. I know some folks just don't like using the nub, but really it's hard to ask for more. I mean, I wish this were more upgradable. That is my biggest beef with it. You cannot upgrade the RAM; it's soldered, and you might
Boo.
be able to upgrade the SSD. You're supposed to be able to. I tried removing the back on this. Because what you're supposed to do is loosen the 5 screws here and take the back off, but the back would not pry off for me, and I wasn't going to force it because I try not to break the stuff people send me for review. Uh, so
Fair enough.
so but you're supposed to be able to get the back off to change the SSD if you want. My recommendation is just buy it with don't buy it with the 256 gig SSD option because that's too little. Um, so, I mean, this is a really good laptop. It's going to be on our review of this going up probably tomorrow on Tom's Hardware, and it's going to be on our list of best ultra portables and best ultrabooks because if you are looking for a clamshell laptop to, for being productive, this is the one to get. Uh, this is absolutely what I would take with me to go to a major event like CES. Uh, I actually have an earlier, like an earlier generation of this that I do take with me everywhere.
Sounds like a powerhouse.
Yes,
Yeah.
a shopping journey that we all got to follow along on.
Yes. Okay, that's all true. I was as an aside, we had my mother's 80th birthday party yesterday, and and we had over some of her friends who were of a similar age, and one of them said he needs, should he replace his Surface? He said he has a Surface 4. Should he replace his Surface 4 because the battery is swelling? And I said, "Oh, your battery is swelling? Yes, you should. You should get rid of that laptop as soon as possible
And hide from
I
it.
don't even know where. Yes, I don't even know where you're supposed to take something like that, but turn it over to some e-waste place or something because
Mhm.
that's a fire hazard.
Yeah.
And then he said, well, what should I get to replace it? I really actually don't care about using it as a tablet. So I don't know why he had a Surface in the first place.
Right.
So I said to him, well, if it were me, I would get a ThinkPad X1 Carbon, but and he said, okay, but that sounds pretty good. What about HP? I said, okay, well, another good choice for folks who just want a laptop that's good for carrying around and just getting like work done, but not necessarily gaming and not necessarily doing like processor intensive stuff like video editing. The HP Spectre X360 is always a good choice. So that's the advice I gave him. But if it were me, I would get the ThinkPad because of just the battery life is really epic. The keyboard is first class, and of course you have, unlike a consumer class notebook like the Spectre, this is a business class notebook that's gone through mil-spec testing, so it's more likely to survive being dropped and shaken around and things like that. It's made to last, and I can say from experience with other ThinkPads I've had, they do last. My son has my ThinkPad that I bought in 2014, and he's using it every day now. It's a 7-year-old notebook, and it's still working pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Yeah, they're pretty hard to kill, and based on your past recommendations, I have also recommended the X1 Carbon many times, because I know how much you like it.
Yeah, it's definitely really good. So I strongly recommend it. For more information, definitely check out our review, which should be live probably tomorrow.
Very cool. Well, Avram, as always, I appreciate the information. I always love to see the products that you're messing around with, especially when they're new laptops. Show and tell is my favorite day of the week, and I look forward to what we talk about next. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Piltch Point with Avram Piltch. If you did, please subscribe to our channel, and of course hit the notification bell since subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. And if you've got topics you'd like us to discuss in the future, we'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you don't want to follow us on YouTube, that's okay. There's a lot of other ways that you can follow our content. You can find all of that by going to plughitslive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all the different ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.